Alrighty. Nitro.
WCW Tuesday Nitro, for some reason. January 23rd, 2001. Probably basketball. 10 episodes to go, Brian.
It would be 9, but you two decided.
And everyone else. So we get a recap of like the last 2 weeks in a nutshell. Goldberg is gone. Sid broke his leg. They had a funeral for Goldberg. Nash and Page and Rick Steiner are all united. Chronic is on the cat side. Nash and Steiner had a match on Thunder. Okay. So we think it says last week. Could have been this week, whatever. Steiner and Jarrett and Buff and Lex are sitting on a couch, and they got a tray of about 100 chicken wings that have been eaten, but the bones are just laying there. And they're watching in a loop Sid Vicious suffer a gruesome broken leg, laughing at him over and over again.
Actually, Vinny, it's not 2020. So they cannot pull this up on the iPad, the animated GIF, and have it loop. They're watching a grainy videotape on an analog television, and they have to manually rewind over and over again.
Probably had to hold the rewind button down. I had one of those VCRs once.
You know this was a WWE segment, because when you see that they're laughing at Sid breaking his leg, and then they got chicken bones and they snap him when his leg snaps, it's like, okay, I got the joke. And it keeps going.
Yes. It probably did not need to go as long as it did.
It went on forever.
I just laughed at this is dastardly, villainous heel behavior. And that
it sure was.
That made me laugh.
The best thing was Steiner's actually taking credit for breaking Sid's leg.
The story now is that Sid collided with Steiner's massive chest and his leg broke. Tony Schiavone then opens the show with this speech. We're going to open WCW Nitro on this very special Tuesday night with a news item. Many of you may already know that WCW has new owners. The transaction right now in process. We are in the transition period of new owners in World Championship Wrestling.
And we move on.
We don't know what changes will take place. We don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks. The answer, Tony, is nothing good.
Dude, you're telling me. Actually, it is good. They run out of business.
That's not good for Tony. Flair comes out for a promo, and this is a classic Raw segment of just one guy talks, another guy comes out and talks, another guy comes out and talks.
Ric Flair says that the upcoming Super Brawl pay-per-view in February of 2001 is the biggest pay-per-view ever put on by this company. Wow.
He's trying.
Yeah, but it's such bullshit that it's actually a negative.
So he says, I need a top contender to face Scott Steiner at Super Bowl for this biggest show ever. I thought about Goldberg, but he's retired. I thought about Sid, but Steiner broke his leg. And so I thought of that tall German fella, the new number one contender, Alex Wright. And Alex Wright comes out on stage and does his dance, and they cut to the ring, and Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell are doing his dance.
They were awesome.
They have gotten rid of...
Totally Buff was so great.
They have gotten rid of so many baby faces that when he first said Alex Wright, I actually thought, I fucking don't remember this. I wonder if that was any good. But it was bullshit.
It was bullshit. Nash interrupts. Alex Wright punches him. So Nash powerbombs him through the stage. And long story short, declares...
No, we're not making long story short. Nash powerbombs this guy through the stage. And Ric Flair says, and I quote, Nash, what are you doing? That was a number one contender for the world title. Those exact words. Mm-hmm. Nash says, I am the number one contender. I have someone here to back me up. Shat comes out. And long story short, now we'll do long story short. They announced it tonight. It is Luger versus DDP. The winner will be the special guest referee for the main event tonight. If Nash wins, I forget who he wrestled.
Okay, here's how it goes.
Who the fuck did he wrestle?
Here's the whole thing, right? It's Dallas Page versus Lex Luger with the stipulations that Nash and Buff can't interfere or they'll be suspended.
Right.
The winner of that match will then be the special referee for Kevin Nash versus Buff Bagwell in the main event.
Bagwell, that's right.
And if Kevin Nash wins that match, then he gets a title shot against Steiner at the pay-per-view.
I just watched this show.
Does it have to be that complicated?
I have no idea who's
Jesus,
in the main event.
I wrote it down like 5 times trying to get it all sorted out.
Vinny, it didn't need to be that complicated, but you know what? They built up a number of matches to lead to the main event of this show. Mm-hmm. On the other show, the whole show was built around whether you were not going to get what was advertised.
Yeah.
And you didn't.
You got me there.
This is better. This is a better show than that Raw. With the exception of The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, that's definitely true.
And The Rock and Benoit and Jericho.
Yeah. Mike Sanders is talking to Chavo Guerrero on the wall. Says there are some cruiserweights coming up you're going to need to watch. And he explains tonight is Chavo and Wall versus Hugh G. Rection and Corporal Cajun. Jarrett and Steiner arrive. Flair tries to break the news to them, scurries them into an office.
Steiner just arrived with no shirt on.
Yes.
It's fucking January.
It's Scott Steiner.
I know that.
2001 WCW Nitro, Michael Modest versus the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels.
Now, they had put Alex Wright through the stage. And so when these guys come out to protect them from the broken stage, they put out yellow caution tape.
Yes. Do not cross this
I hope
line.
they got Alex out of there.
We never saw it.
He may still be laying there.
Throughout this entire show.
Okay, so this match is famous because, as everybody knows, Chris Daniels tried a quebrada or something.
Yes.
And he landed right on top of his head.
Yes.
So if you watch the match, he lands on his head, and he like shakes his head out, and he continues wrestling, and for like 2 minutes he appears okay. Then about 3 minutes later, he starts hitting the ropes, and he can't even use his left arm. His left arm is largely limp. He can. I should take that back. He can still use it, but he's clearly got problems with the left arm. Mm-hmm. That's bad. So as it turns out, he was under contract, but it must have been like a low money contract because he was still doing any dates. So for 6 weeks afterwards, he had little feeling in his left arm, and he just kept working all of his dates because he needed the money.
Yeah.
And he said after 6 weeks, it just cleared up. But to this day, he still has problems with his neck and his arm as a result of this match right here.
Well, that sucks.
A fine job taking care of your talent, WCW.
Yeah.
And then he looked, I mean, for a one-armed guy, he looked great in this match.
If you know the part where he fell on his head, this is a very fun little power versus speed match.
Michael Modest was awesome. Daniels was great.
They did do too much for an opener with two guys. The crowd had no idea who they were.
Yeah, the crowd didn't care about it.
There was so much crowd sweetening on the show, but in this match in particular. So the best moonsault ever was not the finish. An air raid crash was not the finish. And eventually, they keep wrestling, and the big payoff after all this is Scott Steiner comes out and kills them both.
So I've been told, Vinny, that I need to ask you if you want to go see Frozen 2 this weekend and get ice cream.
I just saw the same text. I was going to put it off till after the show.
Well, I was too, but then I was just pressured. You may as well ask on air.
Did that pressure for your wife or mine?
Well, I mean, realistically, it's a storyline now, because this will be the 6th time that I see Frozen 2, so we may as well just...
We'll have to see what time, Brian, because I'm going to need to watch Retro, Raw, and Nitro on Saturday.
I will too.
Okay. Oh, what a fun date this will be.
We'll see, I said. Dude, the movie's not that bad.
I'm sure it's a great movie.
What are you laughing about?
I'm sure you know it by heart now.
I do, and like, it must not be that bad if I'm going to see it for the 6th time.
Are you going to sing?
That's on you, bro.
I'm not going to sing.
That's too bad.
So anyway, the best part of this match, obviously the worst part is Chris Daniels fucking almost killing himself, but the best part of this match is it's over. And
Wow, okay.
Not that part, jackass. Let me finish. The match is over because Steiner runs in. Mm-hmm. He starts breaking everyone's leg, right?
Right.
Okay. So they send out all these EMTs because their legs are snapped in two.
Yeah, they're broken.
All right. So it's Scott Steiner. He starts beating the shit out of all of them. Mm-hmm. So this actually was not his fault. Scott Steiner thought these must just be indie guys dressed as EMTs.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. One of these guys was, in fact, an EMT. Mm-hmm. Scott's in there just beating the shit out of the guy. So the guy does, in fact, file charges.
Oops.
And Steiner is arrested.
Oh, no.
Awesome.
What the hell can you do? That's one of those things that only would happen in WCW.
Correct. Absolutely correct. They didn't think to smarten Scott up to that. Queeweed is a promo. So...
Oh, and by the way, during commercial, Steiner, I guess, doesn't know that Daniels is hurt. He just goes out and stomps on his neck. I'm like, God damn.
Queevy comes out for a promo. Now, at some point during this
I don't
segment,
know what happened.
At some point during this segment, I began to write down every time Scott Hudson said, good night! Because it was pissing me off and irritating me. It was like 6 times up by this point in the show. Now, I can only assume someone else was watching backstage and told him, stop saying good fucking night, it's annoying. Because he stopped. But he had said good night like 20 times in the first 50 minutes of the show. Queewee is mad Flair did not want him in his crew.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
He calls out anyone in the building, including you, Mr. Security Guy. Security Guy gets in the ring. Queewee beats him up. Scott Hudson says, good night! And that's the end of the segment.
Was this a real security guy?
Maybe I wasn't paying attention thinking about Frozen 2, but did you mention that he's now Angry Allen?
Someone in here dropped that name, yeah. He's both or something.
Angry Allen.
If I had that hairstyle, I'd be angry too.
I so miss WCW sometimes. Like, I'm not going to miss when it's gone and we don't review it anymore, but...
You want to start over?
I think of stuff like Jamie-san. It's like, it's Jamie Noble. He's some dude from the South, but we want to pretend he's an Asian.
Sure.
What's his name? Oh, fuck, Jamie. Jamie-san. Because his name is Jamie.
Now he's Japanese.
That's what you fucking came up with? Oh, let's put Jerry Lynn under a mask. Let's think of a cool name for this mask.
This is the example I was just trying to think of.
Mr. JL.
No one will know.
Now this fucking guy. First he was named after a fruit, kiwi, but then, like, I guess they thought this is going to get over so big that let's call him Queewee so we can make sure that we can merchandise it.
Yeah.
We can merchandise kiwi because it's a fruit. Oh, but now, Queewee wasn't getting over.
Shocking.
Let's call you Angry Allen. Angry fucking Allen.
Yes.
And they blame AOL Time Warner. You tell me someone from AOL Time Warner came up with Angry Allen? Because let me tell you something, they didn't. Fuck, what a stupid name.
Team Canada came out for a promo. Lance just challenged Conan to a one-on-one match to determine the winner of the Team Canada versus Filthy Animals war.
Rob was on this show doing commentary. Did you notice?
I did not notice that.
This is a Rob moment. So, Lance says, this war has gone on long enough. I want this war with the Filthy Animals to end. Canada has never lost a war. They go to Scott Hudson and Scott Hudson goes, well, Canada's never been in a war. I'm like, did you have to spoil the joke? Did you have to? You know what I'm saying, Rob? You don't even know what I'm talking about.
I get what you're talking about. I just don't understand how it pertains to me. I would
You
never
do this all the time.
I would never spoil a joke.
Oh, get out of here. You're fired. Imagine if I fired him over that. Of all things.
All I know is I'm watching this and
Then I'll change my name to Angry Alvarez. That'll be my new name.
change.
No, this will be my name. My actual name.
So as we all know, Lance is currently working as a backstage agent with World Wrestling Entertainment, so he's not an
is?
That's what I've heard. That's what the Twitters tell me.
I don't hear from him anymore.
So can't imagine why. So he's not part.
So angry.
He's not not a part of the show on camera. Just one time for one takeover. I just want to see Lance come out with Imperium.
Yes.
Do their entrance.
Yes.
And then leave because he'd be perfect for it.
That actually would be pretty cool.
Yes. Elisa Lance versus Conan. Here's everything I wrote about this. Everyone brawls with everyone. Lance wins with Maple Leaf.
Okay.
I mean, that's what happened.
All right.
Yeah.
I did like when he put on the maple leaf and Conan submits by going, yeah, yeah. That's how he submitted.
So that's how they do it in Mexico.
Isn't that the kid from Sandlot?
It is. It's like he gives someone a noogie and he goes, yeah, oh, yeah. I made that up.
Shane Douglas asks Totally Buff, has Ric Flair been asking about me? And they, of course, play him off as a fool. Oh, yeah, he's asking everybody all the time. But listen, before you can get in the crew, we need you a favor. We need you to take out the cat. And Shane says, I can take out the cat and I'm in. Consider it done. And they're all happy. Gene interviews Hugh G. Rection and Lash LaRue.
Oh, what a sad day. Huge erection discharges.
We did, actually.
At least we left on a high note.
We left at the peak.
We did leave at the peak. Peak huge erection here. He discharges.
He swear to
Yes,
God.
Rob.
He did.
Kill the joke.
You might even say we left at the climax.
Okay, thank you. Sure. So, huge erection dishonorably discharges Cajun. I'm like, you can't even honorably discharge the guy?
he honorably-
What the fuck? Are you sure?
I'm almost positive.
I'm almost positive he dishonorably discharged him. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Takes off his jacket or his shirt, and he takes off his own shirt and says, everyone's forgotten Hugh Morris. It's fucking over. We've told our last huge erection joke.
Man, never see a huge erection again.
People are going to be very disappointed.
A lot of awkward silence there.
Lex Luger versus DDP, where Nash and Buff can't interfere, and the winner gets to be special ref of a Nash Buff match later tonight, where if Nash wins, he gets a title shot against Scott Steiner at Super Brawl. Here's how they did the ref bump in this match.
Oh my gosh.
They're doing this match. It's whatever. Paige is doing his comeback. He lays Lex out. He turns to the hard camera. He throws his hands together like Jay-Z, and he goes bang, and he throws his elbows back, and the elbow hits the referee, and the referee is down.
Sweet.
Took a bump.
Something new.
He banged the ref into unconsciousness.
Yes.
Wow.
Maybe DDP will be the new huge erection.
It might be. Jarrett runs out. A lot of shit happens. He hits Paige with a guitar. Lex puts Paige in the torture rack. The ref calls for the bell. Yeehaw.
Hey, listen. This was not great, but DDP did a hell of a job with the guy. And there was a lot of heat for this match, and it was not a negative. I thought it was fine.
Except there was a bunch of guitar debris.
In fact,
the
just
ring,
like
and-
that, Vito and Johnny the Bull versus Jindrak and Stasiak.
Yes.
This match was totally fine. You know what was funny about this match? Let me repeat the participants. Jindrak and Stasiak
Yep.
versus Johnny the Bull and Vito. Let's do a quiz. Who's the best worker in this match?
Vito.
Correct. But you know what's funny watching this match? He was the worst guy in the match.
Might have been.
And I'm watching this and I can't fucking figure out why. And then it hit me. He's in with three guys that are so green that he has to work at about half of his own speed. And so it threw all of his timing off. I really noticed it when he was trying to hit the ropes. He's taking about 6 steps. I'm like, why is it taking 6 steps for Vito to hit the ropes? And then I realized, well, he's trying to do a spot with, like, Sean Stasiak. I'm surprised it didn't take him 20 steps. But anyway, everybody worked hard. They were very athletic. It was not bad.
Johnny the Bull, at one point in this match, grabbed Mark Jindrak and pressed him high into the air.
Yes.
Hey, he's very strong.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He's a big, strong boy.
Clearly. So here's the finish. There's this 4-way thing going on, and
Oh, my God. I forgot about this.
You're so happy. So
Did you write it all down? Because I got exactly what happened.
You're going to go ahead then.
Okay. Because I watched it like 5 times. Johnny is going for the pin on Stasiak. But Mark Jindrak comes off the top with a flying elbow, knocking out Johnny and breaking up the pin. Jindrak covers Johnny. Vito then super kicks Stasiak. And so Vito is making a cover and Jindrak is making a cover at the same time.
One guy from each team.
One
has a
guy
pin.
from each team. Okay. The referee, played by Rob, he's got one job. Okay? He has one job. He has no idea who the legal man is. So he just fucking stands there. It doesn't count for either fucking team.
Yes.
He just fucking stands there. So Palumbo and O'Hare run down to the ring, and they're like, motherfucker, count! And they push him. And so he goes, ring the bell! It's a fucking disqualification.
Yeah. You can't put your hands on the ref,
If
Brian.
they don't fire this motherfucking ref, I'm not watching any more of these Nitros. This was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Brian, it's not real.
It's real to me, damn it. I'm looking for any excuse. If I see this guy's face next week, we're done. You got it?
The Thrillers are all arguing backstage. Sanders is at first trying to make peace.
I'd be arguing too.
Flair pulls Sanders aside, tells him to step back, don't worry about them, let them sort it out. You need to think for yourself. You're my pet project, he says. Shane Douglas versus the Cat. So,
Shane does a promo and says he'll franchise Shat's ass. Then Shat comes out.
Yeah.
You know what Shat is?
no, actually.
Cartoon.
He's a guy who's funny, but like not every joke is a home run. And they
I certainly
have
agree with that second part.
they have no Vince McMahon to say, don't say that. So Shat comes out and his line is, "You're gonna French fry my ass?" Dead silence.
Well,
He's supposed to be the baby face. So anyway,
So,
then a match starts.
so Shane's the U.S. champion. Cat says, I'm going to win your U.S. title. But then Flair appears on the screen, and it's one of those horrible deals where neither guy can overrule the other, so it's like a race to see who can book steps first.
right.
So Flair says, no, this is not a U.S. title match. Shane's U.S. title is not at stake. Your commissionership is at stake. Also, it's no DQ. So the match begins. The announcers are all, oh my God. Cat had no plan for a no disqualification match. Cheat.
Well, I mean,
Cheat like crazy.
Have some geeks.
Get your friends.
He didn't have time to get geeks.
So Sanders runs out to attack the Cat. He gets killed. Sean O'Hara runs down. Rick Steiner's in there. I simply wrote, Shane gets punched and kicked and pinned. And then we do need more Rick Steiner dancing to the Cat's music.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
That was actually
It was
really
not
cool.
as good as Brock dancing to MVP's music.
No.
That was much better. I will give Shat this. He was a legit karate guy, and so his kicks are really cool.
Of course, yes.
He can kick people right in the face, and he doesn't even touch them, and it looks great. So thumbs up to Shat's kicking.
Chavo Guerrero Jr. and The Wall
This match.
versus Hugh Morris and Lash LaRue. So here's the match. They get the heat on Lash. Okay, let's take a step back. It's Hugh Morris's big return. And say what you will about Bill DeMott, but he's a big, scary mofo who can do a lot of cool things. So he should be a guy who can make a cool hot tag.
You would think.
They get the heat on Lash. Lash then makes his own comeback, makes no effort to tag in Hugh Morris. The match keeps going. He gets cut off again. Hugh gets bored. He goes over and beats on the Wall, and then Chavo pins Lash.
The two other guys never actually got in the
It
ring.
never was a tag.
Not only that, Hugh gets in the ring afterwards and beats up Chavo, and Lash is just cheering him on. He doesn't give two shits that he got beat up for 20 minutes, and there was no one for him to tag, and then he got beaten.
This is not a good match.
This was very bad.
This was not a good match at all. Buff Bagwell versus Kevin Nash with Lex Luger as special referee, where Kevin Nash needs to win to get a title shot against Scott Steiner at Super Brawl. So the heels are doing their promo. Lex sarcastically vows to call it down the middle. Buff is doing whatever. And I think Buff's music played too early because he says something like, yeah, it's my music. And he starts to sing it. And then he's annoyed and he goes and chews out the ring announcer like it's his fault. The match begins. It's every terrible heel ref bullshit match you ever saw.
Let's get the good news out of the way first. This was another one of those matches where the company has been sold.
Yes.
Nash is not an idiot. I mean, he's an idiot, but he's not that kind of idiot.
Okay.
Bagwell, same thing. So they worked their asses
The
off.
actual work in the match was quite good. Given who was involved.
Bagwell was doing these punches on the middle rope, just fucking great punches.
Nash is selling other punches.
Nash was taking these big flat back bumps.
Yes.
Like they worked their asses off. Now, with that said, the match was a fucking disaster because Luger had to play heel ref. I can count on one hand the number of times in history that this heel ref thing has worked. And in every case, the match is just fucking over immediately. This was not one of those times. Every heel ref cliche just fucking was dumb.
So eventually, DDP is out there, hits a diamond cutter on Luger. Luger's laid out. Nash powerbombs Buff, uses Lex's hand to count 3, and so he wins, and now he gets his title match. And then Steiner and Animal and Jarrett and Page all have a brawl, and the show ends.
How many weeks left?
Now 9. I think the 10 was counting this one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you ready?
Yes. The finishes on this show were DQ when a madman runs in and attacks both dudes. Clean submission, I guess. Submission after guitar shot. DQ after referee can't remember who the legal men in a tag match are. Pin in a no DQ match after all sorts of interference. Clean pin, and then pinned by an unconscious ref after interference.
Is it true this little prick Marco Stunt's coming to Seattle on Friday?
He is coming to town with the Luchasaurus.
I like Luchasaurus.
There's the Strong Hearts are going to be wrestling Jurassic Express.
Wow.
One of the
Is Jungle Boy coming?
he is not. They've got a I can't remember the kid's name. He wrestles in a panda mask. That's all I know.
Sammy Guevara?
No.
What does that have to do with the Jungle Boy?
He's not there.
Oh, this is a replacement?
Right.
I got it.
Killer Cross is also going to be there. War Beast. It's gonna be a good show.
They're letting Killer Cross work Defy on Friday?
Yes, he's wrestling
Wow.
Cash actually.
How about that?
And the main event is a ladder match with Shaft and Artemis Spencer.
God, I thought you said Shat.
No.
He's coming to Defy? Dude, I saw Shat over Mania weekend. He looks virtually exactly the same. Probably could still go.
Did you see
can
him
see
in The Wrestler?
Well, yeah.
I suspect that's pretty close to his life. Like, he could probably be the exact same Shat from 2001 and in 2020.
Sure. All right, everybody.
Is he going to show up and challenge Marco?
No.
I didn't think so.
All right, we're out of time, everybody. We're going to wrap it up for today. We'll be back, I guess, Sunday with another Retro Raw Nitro. And then Vinny and I are here Thursday reviewing AEW. Lots of great stuff, so check it out. That's it. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Adios.